can speak to William Schaffner, who's a professor in preventative medicine at Vanderbilt University's School of Medicine in Tennessee. William, thank you so much for your time. Can you just explain how important this is in terms of, it's not a cure, is it? It's not a vaccine. It's just a way, it seems as if Anthony Fauci was saying it's a way to help someone who's infected recover more quickly. So how important a development is it?
Oh, it's a wonderfully important development. First of all, it's the first good news we've heard in a long time. We now have a drug that we know works against the coronavirus and, when administered appropriately, can reduce the fatality, we think, of the disease and can shorten the hospitalization. That's a wonderful advance. We wait for the results completely, and we wait for the results of other trials of other drugs that may also have an effect. But it's a wonderful first step. We've been waiting for this kind of information for quite some time. I think it will change right now the way people with COVID in hospitals are being treated.
So do you think it's going to be distributed en masse across the United States and then possibly the rest of the world? If Dr. Fauci is talking about how this development has happened, because as far as I understand, the first trials of Remdesivir, the existing drug, in terms of how it might treat COVID-19 patients, that was unsuccessful. If this has happened now, this positive development, is it something that's exclusive to the United States?
Oh, I wouldn't think it were exclusive to the United States. No, I think we would want this distributed as widely as possible. There are tricks here. We're going to have to manufacture the drug in a reliable fashion and then distribute it. And remember, this is a drug that's given intravenously. You can't take it with a pill and get an effect. You have to administer it intravenously. So it will be restricted to in-hospital use.
William, what about a possible vaccine? I mean, there have been some analyses which have said we shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves because there is a possibility that there may never be a vaccine against COVID-19. If there were to be a vaccine, I'm not going to ask you to comment about a potential timetable because people differ between 12 to 24 months. But how effective might a vaccine be? Because we know with the influenza vaccine, the people who make those vaccines have to guess what kind of influenza is coming and manufacture one for those particular types. So it may work, it may not work. It's about scientific guesswork, and usually the scientists get it right. But if there were to be a vaccine against COVID-19, how effective do you think it possibly could be, given how novel this virus is and how we're learning so much more about which parts of the body it attacks and how it affects patients?
Your questions are all wonderful, but let's focus on one part of it. We have to guess each year which influenza viruses are going to be circulating and then make a new vaccine. Not the case with COVID. COVID is a very stable virus, so it's a little bit more like measles in that regard. So we can anticipate that the vaccines that are now being in trial will focus on this virus, and we anticipate the virus a year from now, 2 years from now, probably will be pretty much the virus that we see at the present time. So we are more optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that we can get a vaccine that will work. Whether it will prevent 100% of infections or 60% or 80%, that will be determined by the clinical trials. But we still have real optimism that we will get a vaccine.
It's so encouraging to hear how positive you are about this latest development, William. Thank you so much indeed for spending time with us. William Schaffner from Vanderbilt University School of Medicine.